Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Steven. If you guys would like more panel videos like these to be made, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and remember, I am on Cameo if you'd like a special shout out from me, and it's recording time!
The time has come. It's time for Silicon's 2021 headliner to come out. I would like you guys to make a lot of noise. This is an American icon. He's inimitable. He is inevitable. Please make a lot of noise for William Shatner.
Wouldn't have been wild if it wasn't me. Come on with a mask and sunglasses. Guy whips it off and it's George Takei or something like that. Hi everybody. God. We doughty few who made it through the COVID thing and here we are together at last. Okay. So, come on down. Why are you way back there? We're going to have a little intimate get-together. Yeah. You're going to stay there. I can see that. Okay. So what's been happening? Well, I tell you, it's really wild. My grandson got married last week. So it was about 100 miles out of Los Angeles in a town called Temecula. So they had the wedding in Temecula. And I was there and danced with the little guys, 1 year old, about 16 months old. He's just staggering around, and so was I. And I had a beautiful time. And then everyone was staying at the hotel, but I drove back because I just wanted to sleep in my own bed. I totally forgot about this event. Now, it's very important to me to be at these events and be with you. It's very important to me. But my grandson, so it was totally out of my mind. So I wake up about 7 o'clock this morning. I read an article about human beings' sixth sense, that we have in us a sixth sense that can be developed. And then this article went on how to develop it, and it's, sixth sense is, animals that the tsunami was coming to the island and all the animals left the beach and went up to the higher ground, and meanwhile the tourists are, oh, look at that, big waves coming, and then the animals knew. So they think the animals knew because they could feel the rumbling of that wave as it came towards whatever the country was. So.
Indian Ocean.
The same thing applies, the Indian Ocean. Same thing applies to a group of birds in the middle of the United States. Every so often, like this storm coming in to New Orleans now, every so often a storm comes up the center of the United States, but frequently where it is now, like just on the mouth, like it hasn't gotten to land yet, the birds fly away. And then the storm hits and the winds blow, and when it's over, the birds return. How do they know? So, do they hear, do they feel, do they sense? Sixth sense. So, they say human beings have it as well. So this morning I woke up at 7:30, 7 o'clock. My phone's being charged right near my bed, so I look at my phone, and I have to be at the airport at 7:15, and it's 7 o'clock to be here. So I look a little bit draggled because, it takes time to wake up and get ready, and some guys shave, I did none of that. I jumped into these clothes, I made it to the airport, and here I am, bedraggled, but The Sixth Sense. Now, I needed that Sixth Sense recently. I don't know whether any of you saw Shark Week. I was on Shark Week. Yeah. Okay. Very popular show. So this guy, Josh Gates, you know that name? Adventure thing. He goes everywhere. He goes everywhere. It's bizarre. I do a show called The Unexplained on the History Channel. Two people. Okay. Same two people. So thank you so much. So one of the shows we did was about these Russian students, they're college students who went into the Russian mountains, the Ural Mountains. They went on a vacation, and about 20 of them took a tent, and it was midwinter, and they walked into the mountains, and apparently they pitched their tent, and they were never heard of again for 3 or 4 months. They were discovered when the army was able to go in because of the terrible winters that they have. The army goes in and discovers their bodies strewn around about a square mile, and they were mutilated, and they had run out in their sleeping clothes, and the 20 students all dead under the strangest circumstances. They examined the tent, and they had cut themselves out of the tent. They didn't even go through the front entrance or the back end. They cut themselves out of the tent and apparently ran away from something. What was it they were running from? Nobody knows. They're there. And The Unexplained, the program tries to, was it the winds? Was it the tribes? And we suggest things but none of it made any sense. And the army couldn't make any sense of it. So it was like, that's a real mystery. That's really unexplained. I'm looking at this Josh Gates show, The Adventure, and there he is, walking the mountains where the students had been, in a big parka with a mask and thing, because it's 50 below zero. And Josh Gates is walking around where I was on a stage like this with background projection. He's there. And he's the guy that called me and said, I'm doing Shark Week. I don't know. Bill. I said, it's William. I'm doing Shark Week. Would you like to do Shark Week? I've been an open ocean diver for years and years. I taught Cousteau. Little exaggeration, but so I've been a diver for a long time, and the thing they teach you, they really talk to you about. Listen, you take a tank, you go down, and there's the amount of pressure, the depth at which you go, limits the time you can spend down there. But be careful of sharks. There are many types of sharks down there, many varieties. Some are harmless, some are very dangerous. Okay, like the great white shark. It's very dangerous, and orcas will two orcas will swim up to a great white, the most fearsome predator in the world. I mean, on land or in the ocean. This is like a monster from here to the edge of the stage with the one great white jaws that big and eat it voraciously. And the orcas turn them upside down and stroke their belly and put them into a tonic faint. It's like a faint, like they go to sleep. The shark. And then the orcas eat their liver, and the shark dies. That's very important to remember because my story depends on this. So we're now going to go down into the deep, and I'm told now there are several types of sharks down there, but we're looking for the tiger sharks, which next to the great white are the fearsome predators of the ocean. But there are other types of sharks. Now there's a black tip and a white tip. Even now, I don't remember whether it was the black tip was dangerous or the white tip was dangerous. One is dangerous and the other isn't dangerous. And I don't want to say whether it was the black or the white because, racism and all that kind of thing. So I don't want to get into that. But one of those colors is dangerous and one of them is not. All right? And I've forgotten now which one it was. So I'm looking in fear and everything's swimming. I'm ready to go into the water and they're chumming. They're throwing out pieces of fish to attract the sharks. And they've attracted 6 or 7 sharks swirling around the boat. And the instructor says to me, now look, going into the water and coming out of the water is the most dangerous time because they're biting. So now you got to get into the water, Bill. And I'm looking at the swirling mass. So, you know, you hold your mask big, right? You jump in. I jump in, I lose my fin, put my fin, and I get down to the bottom. It's about 60 feet of water. And I'm looking, and this cameramen are all around, and they're feeding, honest to God, from here to that post, tiger sharks, 4 of them, tiger sharks, and you see stripes on their body. And they eat some of the fish. And every so often there's a guy this is in the Bahamas. So the Bahamian, I never know whether it's a Bahamia and there's a Bahamian, or whether it's the Bahamas and there's a Bahamian. But there's a guy from those islands behind me. As he said later, I watch your back because these are predators. These are predators that sneak up on you. And they sneak up on you. So I've got your back. Every so often, he would dart out from behind me and push one of these tigers away from biting a cameraman. And everybody's wearing chainmail, like knights of yore, where a sword would just bounce off the chainmail. They're wearing chainmail. I'm not wearing chainmail. So now I see a rock about this size. So I'm sitting on a rock, and I'm watching them with those sharks. Over here, about 10 feet over there, there's a lady. Now the lady was introduced to me on land, and she was the shark whisperer. She's been there 30 years, and she's befriended all the sharks. So eventually, and I'm looking like, I can't believe I'm seeing these sharks. She comes over and puts a 5-foot shark in my lap. So the shark is like this, and I'm petting the shark, and I'm thinking, well, it's a tonic faint. Inadvertently, one of my fingers goes into the gill, and the shark swims off. It wasn't fainting at all. It was just like mesmerized. Maybe they had read my notices. I don't know. And she brings another one, and I'm petting this 5-foot shark. I don't have gloves on, so I'm feeling the skin, which is like rough, but it's like a rough carpet. It's rough, but it's also soft. It's the strangest sensation. And I feel the tip of that shark's fin, you know, that slices through the water. I'm feeling it. And the shark is like, the shark is in love. The shark is like a puppy dog. Like, oh yeah, pet me. And it'll eat you. It's like, I don't know, big bad wolf, right? Hi. Then I had to get out. And I remember the guy's words, getting in, getting out. So I'm getting out, I'm climbing the ladder, and I swear to God, I heard a shark say, look at that asshole. Okay, that's the best I can do with that story. So, I was on Shark Week, and I got an album coming out now. They've released, Joe Jonas is on one of the songs we wrote, and so that's released now. And Brad Paisley's number will be now, in a week or so, and the album itself called Bill. And it'll be out in about 3 or 4 weeks. It may be the best thing I've ever done. It is fabulous. Fabulous album, I think. And we're getting like people on the social media saying how much they like it. So that's there. So look for that. Look for The Unexplained on Friday nights. and I'm doing a talk show. So they said, we'd like you to do a talk show. So I said, well, I'll do a talk show if I can call it I Don't Understand. Because I don't understand anything. I mean, I don't understand what we're doing here. Seriously, I don't understand what we are doing here. I'm like trying to be entertaining and amusing. What the hell are you doing here? What does that mean? What is the... So, you know, that's a great idea. There's a microphone set up, right? There's a microphone set up for questions. Here's what we're going to do. You'll ask me a question, I'll try and answer it. But you're also going to explain what you're doing here. Okay? So where is the microphone set up? No, you're raising your hand. Right here. Right here. I looked over there, it wasn't there. And I looked away, and I looked back, and it's there. How did that happen? Who put that there?
It was magic.
See? What are you doing here? First of all, what's your name?
My name is Kevin Gaunt, sir.
Kevin, you're so strong. Alert there.
Thank you, sir. I got it from you. I'm here because of you, my friend.
Wow.
We're all here because of you.
Oh.
Can we give this guy another standing ovation?
No. Kevin, it's back to your
Bill.
It's back to your five. Get out.
William.
Yes.
You're global. Don't you know that? You're
That means
global.
round. I'm trying to live.
So am I. I'm a little round myself. I'm here, as I was before, to tell you...
Wait a minute. As I was before. That's a great phrase. What does that mean? Where were you here? Have you been here since for 3 years?
Actually, it was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. As I was before.
And by the way, you look good. You look damn good.
What do you mean by that?
You look better than you did 4 years ago.
Well, that brings up the question, either I look bad 4 years ago, or, you know, I mean, what's the inner meaning of that? You look better than you did 4 years ago.
It's the meaning of life.
That I understand. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. What's he doing here?
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't have a question for you. I just want you to know, you started off in the Twilight Zone episodes in black and white.
Yeah.
And then you had a spider spirit gum to your face in Kingdom of the Spiders.
That's right.
Then you got on Saturday Night Live and you told us to get a life.
Yeah.
And you said, that funny you with a funny shirt, have you ever kissed a girl? You see, I didn't think so. I want you to know, I've kissed a lot of girls.
Were you the guy?
Probably. And I've got a life. My name is Kevin Gaunt, and I'm a radiation therapist for the South Bay and the San Francisco Bay Area. I treat 20 or 30 cancer patients a day using a linear accelerator to try to save their lives.
How wonderful.
And while I do that,
Yes.
I tell them about William Shatner.
Oh, come on.
I do.
And we give them a reason to live. See, I find that so meaningful. That's really meaningful to me, Kevin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I try to be a stand-up radiation therapist. But you know what? They took your phaser away, and then they gave you a gun, and you became T.J. Hooker. What kind of officer of the law has the name of a woman of the night? And then...
Wait a minute, that was a general's name as well. What kind of a name do they give a Southern general?
Absolutely.
General Hooker.
Then they took away your gun,
Yes.
and they gave you a law degree.
Yes.
And you were Denny Crane.
Yes.
Another magnificent performance.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm here to tell everyone that they already know that you are magnificent. You've changed our lives. You've changed my life. You've made me the man that I am. And I'll never forget you as long as I live.
Wow, Kevin.
You will live forever. I have just a short little thing I want to do with you, my friend.
Well,
I
I sometimes take a long time.
I understand. You know what? Thank you, Bill.
Wait a minute. What happened?
I gotta show you. It's short. I'm Captain Kirk, and I know how to throw a punch.
Oh, Kevin, you're screwing up the whole mess.
Oh, okay, there it goes. I'll be done then. Thank you, Bill. We love you very much.
Thank you.
You'll live forever. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, my friend. See, That's why I'm here. That's just very touching to me. Because I blunder through life in things, I mean, I really don't understand anything. So that this talk show, I've done 25 half hours, and they want me to do 44, and then they ask me to do another 44, so somewhere in the next several months I'll be doing like 88 half hours of a talk show called I Don't Understand. And I've talked to all kinds of 25 people. I've talked to 25 interesting people. Like, you know who Bob Ballard is?
Yes, you know the Titanic.
What did he say?
From the Titanic.
Found the Titanic.
He filmed the Titanic. So I said to him, because he's a very serious marine scientist, biologist and stuff. He's renowned as a serious marine discoverer. He's the guy that put a bathoscope down and discovered the tectonic plates parting in the Atlantic Ocean. Put this thing with people in it down into the, almost close to the magma, and then they were on a ledge, he couldn't get it up. So he kept moving it and finally he got it. And as they were rising, going back to the ship, they came upon these plumes of hot water, 600 degrees water. And they were coming up out of a calcified chimney. And then as they passed the top of the chimney, 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and they were 30,000 feet down, they discover worms, 13-foot worms and clams. They're alive in sulfur sulfur dilution of some kind, very much against light. The pressure, the heat, and sulfur, all against life, and here were these living things. So what a message that is to, like, what life can form anywhere. The question was whether there's life in the universe is ridiculous. Here are these things, these living things, existing in that extreme heat, extreme chemicals, and extreme pressure. And we know that bacteria exist under the ice that's been there for they've been there thousands of years under the Antarctic ice, and they're alive. So how can there be any question that there's life coming this way?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm here because my mother is in love with you and she dragged me along. She's in the front row right there. I'm embarrassing her. It's totally fine.
Why is that like, that's like animosity towards your mother?
No, I love her so much.
It's hidden, what's the word?
No, I love her.
Yeah,
she just doesn't
but you have an aggressive, silent aggression where you just exposed her to the what?
The masses.
To the masses.
To the masses. You exposed her to the masses. Her secret desire.
Oh, it's not a
She's got an arm around. Look at that. She's got a loving arm around her, and you've just exposed her fantasy. Why would you do that? What kind of a loving daughter would do that?
She doesn't have the guts to do it herself.
See, again, she doesn't have the guts. You're demeaning your mother. What kind of a child are you?
Her favorite.
Her favorite. You mean she needs that demeaning?
I don't know about if she needs it, but she just doesn't have the guts to do it herself.
Okay. So now that you've exposed your mother,
Yeah.
what's your question?
Sorry, I laughed so hard I cried. So my
I wasn't curious about that. A little snot coming out of your nose.
No,
Very
we're
attractive.
good. So the question I have is, out of the people you've interviewed so far for your talk show,
Yeah.
who has been the most fascinating?
Wow, what a good question, because there have been some really fascinating people. Well, the subject matter covers quite a large horizon. Who is an expert on lying? What's a lie? What's a lie? What is a lie? I asked. Well, a lie is not. Well, how do we know what the truth is? How do we know something is true and something is not? Whether it's something being reported or something you observe. How do you know what you're observing? How do you know that what you see is reality and not some figment or some trick of your eyes? Because the eyes, your senses play tricks on you all the time. So how do you know it's true? What is a lie? So we started to talk about that. What's lying? And can you lie by omission, by not saying something? My wife thinks you can. Yes, you can lie by not telling her something. I'm not to tell her. If I don't tell you, that's not a lie. Yes, it is. Okay? So that escalated into what is a lie. And finally, I said, well, what about somebody who's been offended by the practitioners of their faith? You'll know what I mean. I don't want to say it out loud, but say, somebody working in the church loses his faith or her faith for reasons. Do they look into the lie? Do they see the lie? Do they say, everything I thought, that I was so faithful to this, and this person has destroyed my faith. Is that a lie? And that's where that went. Is that interesting or not? Yeah. So, and that was just one. But Bob Ballard. I said to Bob Ballard, Bob, that's his name. What's a serious scientist like you doing, discovering the Titanic? I mean, who cares? The thing's been down there for 100 years. Who cares? It's rusting. Why would you spend your time and all these millions of dollars that the Navy and the government's given you to film the Titanic? And then why would you, Dr. Ballard, go to Scotland and look for the dragon? The what? The Loch Ness Monster. Why would you go there? Why are you doing that, Bob? He said, well, the Titanic was a ploy. Because what they were really after, what the Navy was after, was an American submarine, the Thresher, had sunk with atomic bombs inside. They had the missiles. And somehow the Thresher, I've forgotten why, they discovered why the Thresher sank with all hands on board. But it had all those American secrets. And the Russians were like 400 miles that way. And they did a whole cover story of looking for the Titanic. But in fact, they were bringing the Thresher up. I said, well, that's fantastic. Why were you in Scotland? He said, National Geographic gave me millions of dollars. I had to bring some publicity to okay, I get that. That makes sense to me. So that was another interesting conversation. In addition to, and I wanted to do this, he lost his grown son. His son was in his early 20s, and he, as a result of the turmoil, got a divorce. So he lost his son, divorced, I think in the same year. I said, how did you recover from that? He told me, began to talk. So there was like two different subjects. Anyway, the talk with Ballard was incredible. So that's what the show I Don't Understand is all about, in my opinion. For example, I'm sitting with a guy who's doing some concrete, putting some stones, repairing some concrete on some stones outside my house. I'm sitting there watching, and I said to him, Dick, what's concrete? And he said, well, it's a little sand, a little cement, a little. And he said, are you aware that the Romans lost the formula to concrete? He said, the round building in Rome, the
Colosseum.
Pantheon.
Colosseum. I got somebody saying the wrong thing here, and I knew it. Colosseum. So the Colosseum still stands, made with concrete. The soaring arches that were waterways are still standing. In Miami, 50 years, that's 2,000 years ago. 50 years and that building falls. Okay? So I said, what do you mean they lost it? They lost when Rome was destroyed or fell into disuse in effect, about 200-300 years later, they were trying to do concrete. And you can just imagine one guy saying, well, how much cement do I put and how much sand? Well, what did the Romans do? I don't know. Well, the Romans, what's the formula? We lost it. They lost the formula. Nowadays, we have great arches made of concrete that is new and apparently wonderful. But for 2,000 years, the formula for concrete was lost. How is that possible? I don't understand. And that's the kind of thing I address. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing pretty okay. My name's
Wait a minute. What is pretty okay?
Pretty okay. It is between great and okay. You know, just.
But that's a vast space.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is
well,
it really?
okay as you're going along. I'm going to see Shatner and the thing.
Yeah.
But doing well, I'm going to see Shatner in the run. So somewhere in between is a vast distance.
I'm in the point of, yeah, I'm gonna go see him.
There.
Yeah.
Now, see? That's what I mean. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
My name's Allison, and my question for you
Yes.
is less deep than the other ones have been. But
That's what?
less pondering.
Oh, I see.
Hopefully, I don't know.
No, we don't know.
But you are most well known for your role in Star Trek, which might be debatable to you, but like worldwide, kids my age, kids older, like they
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was wondering, with people like you who have been doing a thing, who did something amazing for so long, if that ever felt like stifling. Because, George Lucas felt stifled with Star Wars. He made it, everyone loved it, and then everyone expected him to make more and more and more. And at some point he wanted to get away, but he couldn't really do that. I was wondering if you were having if you ever had that sort of relationship with your role in Star Trek, if you ever wanted to get away.
I understand what you're asking. And my answer to that is really no. I never felt. Because Captain Kirk was this debonair hero, get the villain, kiss the girl. I mean, I don't mind being. And then, as I got older, I've been acting. I've been a performer for. I was started when I was 6, and I'm older than 6 now. And I've been doing it all my life. I've never done anything else. I've never gotten a penny for a living from anything else. Being something, writing, directing, in some manner involved in entertaining. So I've gone on to other things. And if you're here because it's Star Trek and we want to reminisce of what was it like and who was there, I'm happy with that because we can go further. You're 16, you're asking me, do you ever feel overwhelmed? Do you feel overwhelmed by being 16 and not knowing what you want to do?
Maybe? Haven't thought about it.
No. Oh, come on. Maybe I haven't thought about it. You're 16. I happen to have 2 16-year-olds in the family. And they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I don't know who and what. They're 16 through to 60 now is what am I going to do with my life? Are you saying, what am I going to do with my life?
Yes.
And what are you going to do with your life?
Currently ask questions to you.
But not just to me. Currently, you're going to ask questions, and you will discover what you're going to do with your life by asking questions, right? That's my little wise tidbit for today.
So much.
You're so welcome. Hello there. You don't even have to raise your hand because I know you're next.
Thank you, Captain Kirk. That's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Oh, well, you're wearing the shirt.
Exactly. And I also loved your 2 episodes in the 60s in Twilight Zone, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, Nick of Time. Incredible Twilight Zone episodes. But my question today,
Yes.
Captain Kirk.
Yes. I hear.
Captain Kirk continued to soar in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, San Francisco, the greatest city in the world. What were your favorite scenes to the film in the city by the bay?
Yeah, San Francisco needs to clean up a little, right?
Talk about the movie.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about the greatest city in the world. And it is. And it will be again. It just, wow. There was an underpass on my way to the airport, on my way to the Burbank airport this morning. I drove under an overpass. And filth, garbage. It's just like, what is going on? And I know San Francisco has the same problem. So it's a matter of cleaning that up, and we will once we start to demand it. Favorite scenes in San Francisco? I guess being on the streets of San Francisco, wearing what you're wearing now. And yeah, you look good in it too.
Thank you.
And
Golden Gate Park in the movie?
yeah, and on the streets. On the streets of San Francisco, traffic is going by. Hi, move along, please. I'm directing traffic, by the way, in that uniform. Hi, yes, Captain Kirk here. Just keep moving, please. No parking! I had so much fun being this fictional character come to life on the streets of the greatest city in the world.
Thank you.
Yes, my dear.
Thank you.
You're my dear.
My name is Jim Luddy, and
Hi, Jim.
nice to meet you, Mr. Shatner.
Pleasure's mine.
I just want to say, I'm a leading comment to a question. How am I feeling if I had a bucket list? Being able to talk to you in person was my bucket list. I grew up as an only child, raised by my mom, and you were the only man in our life. What I found as I've grown older and seen the breadth of your, not only your performances and your characters, is that you seem to bring a sense of resiliency that I have been able to tap into, and as a father to twin boys going to Berkeley right now, sort of model without the two-dimensional aspects that television brings.
Right.
Where does that resiliency that comes in all your roles, and I've tried to watch them all, some of them, no offense, are a little hard to watch, but you are always great. You are always great. This is why you don't meet your heroes, because you blow it. I want to say that you have inspired.
You mean everything I did is brilliant?
You were brilliant. People around you let you down.
Right. The material wasn't that good.
I just want to say thank
But
you.
good material is very rare, like a good suit. It's material is very hard to find. It is, and the reality of an actor who's not like I don't know, name a leading actor. What's the name of the wrestler guy?
The Rock.
What's his name?
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson. Making whatever, $20 million a picture, making 5 pictures in a year. The other actors, they've got to think about things that you think about. Got to pay the rent, got to put the children to school. So, there's an interesting dilemma that applies to entertainment where beauty is a factor. So a beautiful girl, say at 18 to 28, if she's beautiful, and smiles, and is talented in some way, she can make a living. She can do very well. When you get over the edge of beauty, it becomes very difficult for them to make a living. So then they begin to accept things that they might not have before. I I did when I was in Star Trek. After Star Trek was difficult after Star Trek for me for a number of reasons. But I turned down a lot of things in television because I thought, well, I'm a serious actor. There came a time when, sort of mixing my answer up here. There came a time, not due to me, that doing television was a way into the movies, which is what everybody wanted to do. So I did more television. And then I began to see that I needed to do more television to pay the rent. And that's one of those things you're talking about that I'd rather not have done. I did because the money was good, the location was, for the variety of reasons that actors take jobs, I was taking those jobs. I would love to have had the purity of my ambition when I was 20 or 21 or even 25. That's also part of another fate that performers have, and that is, if you're over 30 and you're not successful, you're still trying to be successful. I'm hopeful, I'm grateful that doesn't apply to me. But so many thousands of performers, you know, they get around, they sleep in low rent places, they drink, they have a good time in their 20s, and now they're in their 30s, and that transition, you know, from 20 to 30 to 40. 30-year-old actor is saying, I don't think I can pay the rent. I don't know how to put my child, I'm not making enough money as an actor because the pretty people are coming up. What am I going to do? That's a perennial problem. And there's thousands of people who want to be performers. How am I going to make enough money to pay the rent? And have a family, and live, have a car. And there is a moment in the early 30s that everybody faces to make a decision as to whether you're going to stay the course or do something else. You know, go to be a barista or something. You know, Ed Asner, he died today. Did you know that?
Oh!
Ed Asner died today. And I knew him, not well, but there's an actor who started off in New York. You know, he was square, you know, lantern jaw. He was a character actor. And character actors, when they're young, they're just young characters, which is good, but it's not like a big paying job. He was 94 today, and he died at the age of 94. And he stuck it out. He did all kinds of things, and only in the latter days, when he was on those series and performed so beautifully, that he began to really make a good living and have enough money to have some treats in life. But he died today, and I'm thinking there is a perfect example of a guy who struggled all his life, had big success for a while there, and then he did that cartoon movie that brought him back, the balloon thing. Up. He did Up, so that gave him another boost. But then, so there's a perfect example of a guy who struggled and struggled and didn't give up, and then boom, he hit it, and then he got to be 94, and he was struggling and struggling and struggling, and he died. So it was a good life for him. But that is so rare for an actor to have that arc of a full life, that it can panic you when you have responsibilities like children and wives and things like that. Yes.
So, if it's possible I have 3 questions. All right.
You have one.
2 answers.
All right. First, what was it like working on the animated series and being a voice actor? I assume it was the first time you ever did anything like that.
No.
And second,
Your assumption is incorrect.
oh, and second, what was it like working on the Star Trek motion picture, seeing the new Enterprise redesign, seeing the new sets, seeing the new costumes, seeing basically everything that you had left a decade earlier?
We were thrilled.
Just-
We were thrilled. Robert Wise, this great director, was directing it. We thought that this was the beginning of a great adventure. And it was.
It's great.
And your third question?
Oh, of the different uniforms you've worn as Kirk, what is your favorite? So,
David,
TOS?
costume? Wardrobe?
Yes, what's your favorite uniform?
The ones that didn't show the tummy as much. Yes.
No, I'm just.
You're lurking there. You're.
I'm a lurker. I'm Sean. I'm the house manager.
Oh, good. You're off mic.
I'm
There you
Sean.
go.
I'm the house manager. I'm here to help you, and
Oh.
I'm here to help everyone else.
Wonderful.
Thank Mr. Shatner today for his presence here, for sharing his stories with us.
Thank you.
If any of you want to see him, he'll be out on the floor, and his children, so make sure you visit him. But really, seriously, stand up.
Wait a minute. Don't tell them to stand up. Don't tell them to go on. Don't do it to go on. Thanks, everybody. What a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for coming. And House Manager, thank you for getting me off the stage. Pleasure, everybody. Let's call a hook, actually.